851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. This video is another one of your aviation news recap ones. However, two of the stories included in this longer video are videos that were posted on the channel and later deleted. They have, however, been altered, with of course the American Airlines A330 story featuring with the necessary adjustments following my mistake. In addition, there's a few more stories for you that'll come now. Lufthansa is grounding more aircraft over the winter period following a major restructure and heavy drop-off in travel demand that we've been seeing. In addition, it will continue to cut its workforce, which is something we've been made aware of now for some time. The Lufthansa Group, which consists of the likes of Eurowings, Swiss, Brussels Airlines, and finally Austrian, will be grounding specifically a further 125 aircraft, a whopping amount on top of what we've already seen grounded. The letter was seen by Reuters, and the chief executive was the one who noted the changes. It's likely, while not necessarily at the Lufthansa Group, specifically, this will not be the last of additional groundings given the current climate. In rather exciting news with regards to the Airbus A321LR and Air Transit, the record was broken for distance on a single aisle aircraft. The A321LR, operating as flight TS690, departed Montreal in the evening before landing in Athens at around 8 AM the next day. The journey, which is about 7,800 kilometers, breaks many records. But as with any record comes a lot of questions, especially with lots of people begging the question of just who wants to be flying that an almost 9-hour flight on a single aisle jet. What are your thoughts on that matter? Feel free to drop them in the comment section below, as I think it's a great conversation topic. The Airbus A380, the world's largest passenger plane, has had a major impact on the aviation industry and is easily recognizable, with it being the only quad-engine plane that is also a double-decker that is available to passengers around the world. Various airlines are currently in the process of working out what their plans are for the type, and that continues and directly involves Qatar Airways, who are currently figuring out whether their own Airbus A380s will actually fly again. In an interview with Flight Global during their own Airlines 2050 conference, we saw new comments made by their CEO regarding the future of the world's largest passenger plane. The CEO expects that for at least the next couple of years, the aircraft will not fly with the airline moving forward. If we were to simply go off what the CEO noted, this would position the Qatar A380 to re-enter service for passenger operations in late 2022, potentially early 2023. However, this would only occur, he said, if the growth rates were steady to eventually highlight a rise to that of the 2019 demand with the airline. Of course, 2019 being before the global pandemic struck. How long this could take to return at this point is too hard to predict. We've heard some people say 2024, even potentially further into 2025. There's a great sense currently of unknown surrounding its future, and say the type would be grounded for an additional 4 years. Is there really any point in the airline reactivating them? That's the case that the CEO has been making. Once again, the CEO is a huge focus of today's video. He's been one to comment on other airlines' dealings, quite specifically in recent months, especially with how the airline views carriers that may operate the A380s earlier before demand returns to 2019 levels. He went on to say, and people who want to fly the A380 sooner than getting back to pre-2019 levels, I think will be very foolish. There will not be the kind of demand, and if the demand starts growing and people start deploying the Airbus A380, you'll only be able to achieve this by dumping the price. Once you dump the price, you become unsustainable. You now need to really focus on recovering the losses that the airlines have created. The Qatar Airways Airbus A380 is young. Very young, in fact. The youngest A380 within the carrier's operations being just over 2 years old. The first was delivered back in 2014, so removing the type, say now for good, would be a big decision. Originally, the expectation was that these A380s would be retired with the airline between 2024 and 2028. Still, when comparing it to other aircraft, like say the 757, 767, and other natural-born workhorses, this 10-year length flying with the carrier is quite minimal, and highlights the way the industry has been moving towards twin-engine, more efficient jets. Qatar Airways flies various other aircraft, though, that are capable of, while not carrying the same amount of passengers as naturally a double-decker like the A380, they're still able to fly into the same airports. They have the likes of the A350, and the up-and-coming Boeing 777X, which, as we know, is currently in the process of being certified. They, in addition, have the Boeing 787 on order. The carrier also flies currently the Boeing 777. The airline essentially believes that these aircraft moving forward are more than adequate enough for their operations, and it's one of the main reasons why I feel like the intentions could be to have the A380 to return to service. But with currently how things are faring, demand-wise, there's also that high chance, and also I believe in the back of their minds, the idea that it will never return. During this global pandemic though, and many re-entering a form of lockdown, we've simply been stuck inside, and therefore likely using the internet a lot more than we typically would. That's why having a safe VPN, like NordVPN, can help protect you in these instances. With more people than ever online, it's a time for people to also target your information, like your logins and so on. NordVPN can help you stay invisible online and also protect you from unwanted interruptions. Home Wi-Fi configurations, if you are unaware, are not as secure as offices, usually, hence the need for a VPN. You can get NordVPN at the link join on your screen now and in the description/pin comment. If you use the code DJSAviation, you can get 68% off NordVPN, which is only $371 a month, and you'll get one additional month completely free on NordVPN and me. Thank you very much to NordVPN for once again sponsoring this video. It's greatly appreciated. They've been a driving force in powering the channel for some time now. If you want to go and show them some support, keep the channel running, it'd be greatly appreciated. American Airlines has been undergoing a major restructure plan now for some time, with various changes being made to their operations, including the early retirement of certain aircraft in addition. The Airbus A330 being included in this. Prior to the arrival of the global pandemic, American Airlines operated a number of different types of aircraft, including the likes of the A320 family, the Boeing 737s, 757s, 767s, 777s, 787s, and more, also the A330 like I mentioned. The Airbus A330 earlier this year was placed on the chopping board by the airline, who announced their plans to retire the type over the coming years. The carrier operated in the past both the -200s and the -300s. However, now thanks to an update, the -200s will also be retired with immediate effect alongside the -300 fleet. Airlines around the world are parking up their jets, with travel demand at an all-time low. However, questions naturally arise over whether said carrier will ever operate a specific aircraft type again. Namely, we've seen the Airbus A380, or really any quad jet, which has had its future put up in the air, alongside also older aircraft. American Airlines, though, is still well prepared for the future, with incoming aircraft in the coming years, like that of the 787-8s, the 787-9s, and on the smaller side of things, the A321 XLR. These new additions, or already existing ones that'll see a bigger amount join up, will replace directly the likes of the 757s, 767s, Airbus A330s, and finally the Boeing 777-200s, aircraft that were aging and are in dire need of a replacement. These fuel-efficient options will greatly improve Americans' cost-saving methods across the board. American Airlines is continuing to streamline its long-haul operations moving forward. Similar to Delta, while the global pandemic has had many downsides for the airlines within the industry, they've still had the ability to streamline their fleet where possible. American Airlines will move forward with the Boeing 787 and Boeing 777 for its long-haul operations. That's going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts on the stories I covered, like that of Lufthansa grounding a further 125 aircraft with the likes of Eurowings, Swiss, Brussels, and Austrian, or maybe a comment on the Air Transat A321LR, Qatar Airways, American Airlines, or something else, don't hesitate to drop them in the comment section below. Once again, a big shout out to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. You can find all their links in the description and also the pinned comment. Until next time, stay safe, and I will see you all next time.